Let's get started talking about 2021. So if you could go forward in the slide. The first thing that I'm going to announce tonight is that Audrey Essery, who we had in November, had a very hefty waiting list for her watercolor quilt workshop, which you can see two examples of here. We have rebooked her for a second workshop that is currently on sale in our PortlandModernQuiltGuild.com website. You can find it and purchase your seat as I'm speaking. There is the opportunity for one scholarship, and the application period is going to be open for that from December 10th until December 17th. And then the person who gets selected from that via random number generator will be notified either the evening of the 17th or the 18th. So if you'd like to try to get a scholarship, or if you'd like to try and purchase your seat, you can find the information for Audrey's workshop and scholarship all on our webpage. You can find it under the events tab. And then if you can go forward one slide, please. I see that Anne is hard at work putting links in the chat, so you can also see that there as well. So in January 21st, we're pleased to welcome Jackie Gehring. I don't know about you all, but this was one of my kind of bucket list instructors to come to the Guild. And I'm sort of thankful, again, another silver lining of COVID, that we're able to have so many in-demand instructors and lecturers come virtually to speak to us. So I'm excited to see Jackie, and I hope you all are as well. And then if you could go forward, in February, we're going to be welcoming Trisha Royal of Bits and Bobbins. You can find all of her information on our website. Again, under the events tab, you'll see everything for everybody that I'm going to be speaking about there. She'll be lecturing to us on February 11th, and you see the little stars there. That's to let you all know that this is going to be not a usual date for us. We've moved this up 1 week to the second Thursday rather than the third Thursday. And that's because QuiltCon Together is starting on our usual Guild meeting night. And so we've decided to, for those of you who are attending, you won't have to try and double book yourself. So she'll be lecturing us on February 11th. And then on the 13th, she's going to be doing examples of work you see here using scraps. So this is a really good way if you are overloaded with scraps like I am. This is a great way to use those up and create some new fabrics. And we'll be having more information come out about when her workshop is going to be going on sale. That should be happening in January. And if you could go forward one more. In March, we're welcoming Sandra Johnson. She's going to be lecturing to us on March 18th, and she'll be talking to us about using denim in a quilt. And then she's offering two workshops for us. The first is going to be on March 20th, and is also going to be about repurposing denim to use into quilts. And then the workshop on the 21st, which I'm super excited to try and take, is going to be the quilted bomber jacket that you can see on the right there. And then if you can move forward one slide. In April, we're really excited to welcome Tara Fawnin. She's going to be lecturing to us about color and design on April 15th. And then on April 17th, she'll be doing her color workshop, which you can see an example of there on the left-hand side. And then on the 18th, she'll be doing the diamond log cabin, which you can see on the right-hand side there. And then if you'll move forward one more, on May 20th, we'll be welcoming Pantera St. Pontaine. She is the proprietor of Brooklyn Mojo, and she teaches block printing. And so on May 20th, she's going to kind of give us a primer on block printing during our usual Guild meeting. And then on May 22nd, she'll be offering one workshop about block printing. And this will all be virtual, even if for some reason, even if we do have vaccines and everybody can get one by then, she's requested that we keep this virtual no matter what. And that sounds great to me. So we're really excited to be welcoming not only Pantera, but all of these other instructors. And I think that is it for me.
So Chris, you're up.
Yes, I'm here. So in 2021, we are bringing back the Block of the Month. And I am so excited to announce that Tara Evans will be designing it for us. And just a couple of details, we're still kind of ironing them out, and you'll hear more about this in January, but the block of the month this year, or next year, I should say, will cost $10. We believe that our artist should be paid, and so that will cover her costs for designing this special block of the month for us. And Tara is going to give a little sneak peek of what it's going to look like. So Tara, if you're there, could you unmute yourself?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm excited. I had heard that you guys have been doing a lot of blocks of the month in the past, and this is my first time actually designing a block of the month pattern. But I did want to mention before we go to the next slide, if you remember back in my presentation, I showed you guys a pattern called Jelly that I was writing specifically for you. You can see it on the wall behind me there. Anyway, that pattern's done, and you should have received it in your inbox tonight. I believe I saw it there.
It did come.
Yeah, awesome. I also released it to the general public, and this is my kind of charity pattern. So every month, all the sales go to specific organizations, and last month, for the month of November, all the sales went to Rosehaven, which I know you guys are pretty passionate about. So thank you for that. So I was able to donate $50 to them, which was awesome. So go ahead to the next slide. I'll show you what we're doing for block of the month. So it's blurry for a reason because it's going to be a surprise, but I wanted to create a quilt that kind of encompassed all the crises that I feel our Mother Earth is going through right now. So this quilt is going to be called Mother. It consists of 12 teardrops, and you can kind of barely see them in there, but it's 12 teardrops, so 12 blocks, one for every month. And each oh, sorry, my phone's going off. Each teardrop represents a different crisis that our Earth or its inhabitants is going through. So the finished quilt is going to be 72 by 72. And so the insides of the teardrops, you can really make them with scraps. You don't have to buy like a certain kit, but if you want to, as I write the pattern in the next couple weeks and get it all finalized, I can share the specific colors that I'm using and the specific yardage of those colors that I'm using if you want to do the same exact thing that I'm doing. Otherwise, you can definitely use scraps on the insides of those teardrops. So if you go to the next slide, you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about. So I'm giving you a hint at what the first 2 months are. So this is January and February. January is going to be about the global health crisis. Let's see, I made up a sample block just the other day to make sure that all my math was good. I made it into a little wall hanging, but you can see this is what the block would look like. And there's with each of these blocks, there's so many different interpretations. Obviously, this could be about COVID. It could be about cancer. It could be about health costs, health access. It could be about so many different things, right? So that was kind of my intention. So here's an idea of what the first block would look like. So each block, let me see, I've got a note here. Each block finished will be about 15 by 20. And then the whole quilt would be about 72 by 72. The second month, so February, you can see it's a little tree. That can be about deforestation. It could be about natural resources. It could be about so many different other things. But I'm really excited. Okay, so here's what I am looking for. You can see in the center of the screen there. Every month when I introduce the upcoming month's block, I'm looking for somebody who'd be willing to do a short write-up about that topic. Maybe share some stats or info about where we can learn more, or charities or organizations that we can donate to, or ways that we can become more active in that cause. So if you're interested in that, reach out to me or reach out to one of the the committee members, and they can forward it to me either way. So if you are interested in doing that, I'm thinking like a 1 or 2 minute blurb that you'd be able to share with us in kind of introducing that block of the month. So anyway, I'm super excited. Thank you guys for letting me design that. I think this is going to be a super awesome quilt.
Oh, it looks lovely. And somebody can also, you can send a note to the guild and we can forward that on to Tara also. Tara, lovely design. Thank you. And the cost is certainly very cost effective.
It looks like there's one question. Is
Yes.
it beginner friendly, and do we need special rulers?
No, so it is beginner friendly. So essentially, you make the center portion. So if you could picture this white stuff, you make that center portion, and it's a rectangular piece. So it's like traditionally pieced. Now, some of the months will be like the center portion will be like an applique because it's kind of this funky curved piece. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Or some months it'll be a paper pieced section, but it's all very simple and very beginner friendly. And then after you finish that center portion, the pattern will come with templates that you will use to trim your block. So for instance, here's a template. So you would cut this template out and you would lay it on what you've made and trim it. And then you would cut the template out of your background color and piece it together. And it is very simple. It's a very forgiving curve. It's more simple than a half circle. It really is nice and simple. So don't be scared.
Awesome. Thank you so much for answering those questions. It sounds like maybe we need a small group that we can work together on our block of the month together one weekend every month.
I'm sure that would be beneficial, Lindsay. Okay, next slide is membership. As of yesterday, we had 44 individual members that had signed up, and we have 4 business members. 2 of them are new this year, Mr. Domestic and Twisted Thread. To get people to join prior to December 31st at midnight, we are offering a raffle. We have 2 pounds, because I didn't want to measure out all the pieces because they're all assorted sizes. There's 6 pieces that are big panels, 40 by 23, and then there's smaller panels. But it's a sample of fabrics from Sarah Watt's Tiger and Butterfly collection from Moda. There's also a Portland Modern Quilt Guild mug, a right angle wrench, a pencil from Susan Beal, a sewing machine seam guide from Twisted Threads, an LED lit needle threader, and a seam ripper, as well as a thread catcher. And all you have to do is sign up to become a member. If you've already become a member currently, you're already entered into the raffle. And I'll be drawing that New Year's Day, and we can announce it within the week because the January meeting, you have to be a member to attend. Next, we have scholarships available for the membership. You can go to the PMQG website, and under About, you look down under memberships, and they have information there about the scholarships, and that will be done by a random number generator. We have the results of the last month's election. We had the PMQG diversity, inclusion, equity inclusion statement that passed by 97%. I think it was really strong work by the DEI committee. The PMQG amended the bylaws and changes some laws to set deadlines and guidelines for nomination and election of process of board members. That passed by 96%. And then the new board members They were all voted in. Chris Batten is the new president. The VP of Technology and Social Media is Aaron Case. I am going to be the VP of Membership and Procurement. Secretary is going to stay on, Ann Jenkins, and the treasurer is going to stay on, Angel Van Note. Susan Beals will be doing programs and meetings, and we have 2 new members joining the board, programs and workshops. Carol Schubert and Michelle Fitzgerald are sharing that position. There was one person who was concerned that there was only one person to vote in each position. And we're not trying to keep the same people on the board. It's just that it's really hard to get people to volunteer to step up to the board. We're offering that positions can be shared, and we're trying to make it inclusive so everybody can share the load of taking care of the guild. It does grow with more ideas and better ideas by new blood showing up on the board. Susan, are you available?
Yes, thank you so much, Renee. And I just want to echo that we would love to have more volunteers. We do have quite a few 2020 board members who are continuing in 2021, whether it's a different position, or in my case, for example, I rejoined the board actually for the 3rd time in July. So I didn't serve a full year in 2020. So I chose to continue stepping up for 2021, but we would be thrilled to have more volunteers and more involved members. So thank you so much to everyone who has helped with all kinds of projects, but please reach out to us if you're interested in serving in a board position or another volunteer position. We'd be thrilled to include you. Speaking of one of our most special projects, I wanted to share the great news that our small but mighty fabric fundraiser, which went virtual this year like every other thing we tried, raised $2,600 for both Rose Haven, which thank you so much, Tara, for your donation to them. Our secretary, Ann Jenkins Ferloni, brought this organization to us as one that's special to her for a long time, and we're thrilled that you're supporting them as well. And for Project Lemonade, which our longtime, very involved, wonderful member Jenny McKee shared about beautifully at last month's meeting. The total is likely higher because there are several matches that were possible, but we were so thankful for the incredible enthusiasm and just outreach that we saw and participated in and bid on ourselves. The fundraiser was in our new Instagram, PMQG Gives Back. We're going to continue using this one for all kinds of outreach projects, growing it beyond this, but it was a wonderful event. Over the 3-day weekend, our team of Angel Van Note, who's our wonderful treasurer, got this off the ground. Aaron Case created this beautiful logo and template that we used on all the auction and fundraiser items, and it was absolutely beautiful and just a really special way to just unite everything so that when you glanced at it, you just saw the special things that members and companies donated. Chris Batten was phenomenal handling social media and organized and streamlined everything that our generous members donated and did a phenomenal job. Between the 2 of us, we have 4 young children in school. I'll be honest, it was a little exhausting, but the fact that our team handled it made it an incredibly positive and wonderful experience. Renee and Claudia both did so much to bring this to life between donating themselves, and Renee, special shout out for going through 3 garbage bags of fabric donated by one incredibly generous member, photographing all of it and shipping it. Thank you, Renee. That was next level. I'm not kidding. All of our wonderful donors, thank you so much. I can't tell you how much we appreciated seeing your donations come in. I won 4 of them. Thank you. And then last, I wanted to give a special shout out to our super volunteer, Allison, who not only took on the Instagram mega posting when Chris and I were running out of energy for it and just did that 3rd lap in the most just genuinely positive, wonderful way with fun captions and great energy. She donated the koala sewing table that was our single highest grossing item. You are amazing, Allison. So thank you so much. And I heard that it went home with Rachel and that they're very happy together. So I just wanted to thank everyone again for the wonderful support. I know we'll do even better in 2021. But thank you to all who are so generous and supported these two amazing organizations. You're deeply appreciated by both our guild and all of those who are served by these incredible local organizations who do so much good. Anything you have comments on or questions about, we'd love to hear from you. So just want to thank everyone again, including all of our current board, for being so incredibly supportive of this little small but mighty engine that powered our our annual fundraiser in a very different twist. Thank you.
Kimberly, are you available?
I am.
Fabulous.
Maybe hit the space bar. There should be text there. I don't know. Maybe there's a transit. There we
There
go.
it is.
Okay. So this is about the actually next year. I'm still in denial. This is December. Oh my gosh. So this is about the 46th annual Sisters Outdoor Quilt Show. And for those of you that may not be familiar, this is the world's largest outdoor quilt show. And they recently had their donors luncheon where they announced this year's theme, which we basically as a guild have decided to sort of piggyback on top of that. And so our theme for our special exhibit will be renewal. I know Renee had a wonderful concept of Phoenix Rising. So just as an example of how you can kind of take that theme and, I mean, gosh, renewal, wouldn't that be great after the year we just went through together? Anyway, so we will continue to post updates on our website. For those of you that are familiar, we will have a web page on our site that gives you all the details in terms of deadlines and dates. But what we typically do is we start with the date that they give us for when the quilts need to be delivered, and that's June 25th. So we're going to kind of work back from that, but just keeping in mind that someone like, I don't know, maybe me, will need to drive those quilts there to Sisters on this date. We typically have a submission process, so look for that. The submission process typically goes beyond what our limit is as a special exhibit, which is 20 quilts. This year was an exception because they went virtual, so we were able to open it up to all of you to submit your entries for our Bauhaus theme. But I'm kind of getting the notion from the Sisters team that they're going to do it this year, whatever that looks like, or next year, whatever that looks like, we're going to do it. So look for those updates on our website. Start thinking about your quilts and start working on those as soon as possible, so someone like myself is not stressed out trying to get your quilts there on time. So that's it. It's always the second Saturday in July. So again, look to the Sisters Quilt Show website, which I just saw Anne put the link in our chat. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly. So this is the poster that Sisters came up with for their quilt show, and I think it's quite lovely. Those will probably be on sale someplace. But for those of you who don't know, basically we do, you can enter the contest and to be entered into this show. And we do end up taking 20 quilts and we pay the fees, the entry fees for the show.
Yes, Renee, I'll just add the artwork that you're seeing here. Every year they pick an artist's work, which will, like you said, it'll be on posters, it'll be on little bags, everything. So that's all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Lindsay, are you available?
Hey, y'all. So I wanted to kind of share this with everybody in the guild this month because I know We all have really generous hearts, and a local organization that serves so very many families is really in need of some coats. If you have anything 2T to 6T, this does not have to be brand new. If you have a used coat, you can bring them to my house during the free table this weekend, or I can help you get them to the neighborhood house at another time. I wanted to share this because these families just truly have been hit so hard this year. And my friend runs this program, and just hearing her share about like the great need, they need hundreds of coats. This isn't like a normal year where she's like, I need 20 or 50 coats. They need hundreds of coats, and they're having a really hard time just like meeting the general needs. And I thought that this was like an easy way to share with you all. So if you have anything 2T to 6T, I'll happily take it. And of course, 4 and 5T are the most needed. So thank you for letting me share this with everyone. And the free table, which I believe is the next
That's
slide.
the next slide.
I just, a couple of quick things. I hate to say this, but on Sunday, I don't hate to say this, but I'm going to go pick up a puppy. So I won't be available midday on Sunday. So if you just want to like shoot me a text or call me, since I know everyone here is a member this evening and we didn't have guests, I threw my address and phone number up there for you. Where will there be puppy pics going to be? Online, and I guess next time I can try to show and tell a quilt with a puppy. That would be fun. So yeah, please come to the free table, and if you want to send me a text or call me so that you can make sure that I'm here on Sunday, feel free, but I don't see any reason why I won't be back by 3. And I just have and Anne said I'm on Instagram. The other thing that I want to ask politely is that if you have a cat and you donate some fabric, I like to go through the fabric and make the tables pretty, but I'm really allergic. If you just put a note, that would be super helpful for me, because then I can sort of protect myself in another way. I had never thought about it, but I went through somebody's things and had like a pretty bad allergy attack. So I thank you for letting me ask that. But if just a note, it's totally fine. Please bring your stuff, but I'll just know ahead of time. It'll be helpful. I'll put it in the chat. It's notable normalcy. Okay. Thanks for letting me serve you all this year. I really appreciated it. And I'm excited to try to help our guild connect in a different way next year with small groups. And if you need any help with small groups, or if you're already meeting with a small group, please feel free to reach out to me. And I would love to help you in any way that you asked. Okay. Have a good night.
Thank you, Lindsay. So is Kath Hall available?
I don't see
Okay.
her name in the participant list.
That's okay. Then I'll. So Kath is also having the Kath and Sam Hunter are doing the charity quilts this weekend, and because it was not well attended last month, there is a lot to be given out and picked up. So she's hoping that a lot of people will show up to help out with this. Donations mainly go to Dornbecker. You can pick up blocks to make wonky blocks, beginner friendly. There are quilt kits that are started. There's you can get a finished quilt and put on binding. You can do long arm quilting or machine quilting. Sam Hunter's statement and philosophy is kids really don't care what it looks like. You know, you can kind of just quilt, and this can be your practice quilting. And it's a really good way to learn. So feel free to go ahead and go over to her house, December 12th, 10 to 1. She'll be happy. They'll both be happy to see you. We have the UFO Club. There were 14 members this year. they completed between them 47 completed quilts. The money that we raised, they could enter up to 10 quilts with $10, and $95, half of the fund goes to our scholarship fund, and the other half of the fund, $95, goes to Julene. Julene, there's already a check in the mail to you, or it's going in the mail to you tomorrow. I can't remember which, but congratulations. Next, we have raffle time. We have the quilt raffle, and or not the quilt raffle, but the one raffle, and it's multiple products, and we use the random number generator, and that winner of number A was Kim Allman. I'll send you an Instagram note on where you can pick it up. The second quilt, or the second raffle prize, also very popular, was, the winner is Liz. I'm not going to pronounce the last name, sorry. Again, I'll be reaching out to you on Instagram. And the third raffle prize is was also quite popular because of the applique, and the winner is Christine Yee. Congratulations to all the winners. Next, we have projects that were completed. The first one is that I'd like, is Tamara available? This is the QuiltCon quilt from last year.
I'm here, yes.
Fabulous. And if you could talk about your plans for this for the next year, that would be grand. We and maybe give them some past history of it, of what we normally do with the QuiltCon quilts.
Yeah, the QuiltCon charity quilt normally gets raffled off. But because this quilt is kind of special and maybe not a quilt that you would have on your bed so much, my plan was to enter it into shows. But then, of course, that was thwarted by COVID. So I think if we can just hang on to it and try to enter it into some shows so that more people can see it, maybe over the next year or so, and then make a decision then about what to do with it. If anybody has any ideas, I'm very open to them.
Yeah, I think that's lovely. I think it does need to be shared more, and because it's an absolutely poignant statement quilt, and it's it needs to be shared. It was lovely work. So
yes, I'm very proud. Everybody did a great job putting it all together, and Gail Weiss and I designed it, and we're all very, very proud of it, and it has an important message, I think.
yes, well, thank you and Gail both for coming up with this fabulous design. So and we love to be able to see it shown someplace else, because we as a guild have to be proud of all our work.
Thanks.
Erin, are you available?
I am. I just wanted to show everybody the image of our completed quilt. This is the quilt that we submitted to it's the QuiltCon Community Outreach Quilt. You all decided on the design and the name, which is Stronger Together. I want to thank not only the people who participated in making blocks and voting on names and voting on designs, but I also wanted to put a special thank you out to Anne Marie for assembling the quilt, quilting the quilt, and binding the quilt, and also to her husband who photographed the quilt. I think it's beautiful, and I'm so excited to see it at QuiltCon together virtually.
So this is my quilt, and it is a disappearing 9 patch. It's not that it's anything very special, but I'm very proud of it because it is the first quilt that I have quilted on my domestic machine. And I've never quilted anything before, so I was very excited. The pattern didn't come out. You can't tell that I used 2 different threads, but it doesn't matter. There's no bubbles and places that it sticks in the back, and it all looks even. I'm so happy with it. Anyway, on to the next one. Diane, is she available? Diane Cantor?
I don't see her listed in the participants tab, but we'll give her just a moment just in case she's under a different name.
Well, it's certainly a lovely quilt. Nice trim binding, kind of like the binding that you guys did on the QuiltCon quilt with just a tiny little strip. And so we'll go on to the next one. Jenny McKee, are you available?
I am. This was I needed to finish this UFO this year. I started it, I think in 1987, may have been as early as 1986 for my son who was in middle school. There's 782 different red fabrics in the quilt. There was supposed to be 784, but a couple of duplicates crept in. The curves are all hand pieced, the rest is machine pieced, and it's hand quilted. And I was just so happy to finish it last week. And my son, who is now 47 and has gone through a career in the Navy and finished college, is happy to be getting it finally.
So I know you talked about how many hours you put into this.
I think, I can't remember exactly now, at least 300 of handwork and probably another 150 to 200 in cutting out all the pieces, which because I started this in the mid 80s, there was, I wasn't into rotary cutting then. So they were all drawn on the fabric with drunkard's path pattern that I had and cut out by hand. And the other thing, this is interesting because I had forgotten I had done this. I listened to Quilt and Tell podcast every other week when it comes out. And they had someone who started quilting in 90 and talked about how hard it was to find fabrics in, except the very small ones, which is a lot in there. But she talked about how people traded fabric by putting your name into Quilter's newsletter and trading, 25-inch squares and colors you wanted, which is what I did for some of this. And I was actually finishing the bind and sent them off that I indeed was just finishing a quilt, sent them a picture of it, and they asked permission to read my letter on Quilt and Tell in the future. So if you listen to that, you'll hear a little bit of the story too, that it was with the help of a lot of friends and Quilter's newsletter that I came up with 782 different red fabrics for this quilt.
It's certainly an impressive piece of work. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
And next we have Chris.
Hi, yeah. So this is a pattern by Jaybird Studios. She's currently, Julie Herman is doing her Journey to Nebula Sew Along, and this is my completed table topper. And the fabric that I used is, the center is Christina Camelli's Ombres from her Moongate line. And I love the way that it turned out, except I will say quilting those pebbles was something else. I don't know how people do pebbles without, I don't know, wanting to just like be done. Yeah.
I've heard that before.
It's really boring. And my brain just can't stick with, doing the repetitive motion.
Is Betty available?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Betty.
Hi. This is a small piece. I don't remember exactly, somewhere around by something like 20 to 25 by the same. It is Sean Kimber's, Roberta Block, and it's my class piece from taking her class. Can you folks hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I took, the last time Sean Kimber was in Portland, I took a piecing class with her, and it was a wonderful, lovely day. And this is my wonderful, lovely memento. And I'm using it as a, like on my dining room table, in addition to placemats to, to liven up the table and protect the wood. And yeah, and I did, big stitch hand quilting on it. I'm not a hand quilter, I'm a machine quilter, but it was kind of nice to do that. And I thought that the circular sort of semi-Baptist fan modernized was a good way of softening the corners of the edges. But I like it, and I enjoyed my day with Sean. So that's it.
Yeah, I love the round circles of the quilting with the square pieces. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I like to do that. And by the way, that flame fabric is one that I've used for a couple of men's sport shirts, and they love the shirts. And so I'm down to just shreds of it now. But I like that fabric too. It's a warm fabric.
Thank you, Betty.
Okay, bye-bye.
Rebecca Saunders.
Hi, this isn't a new finish, but I thought I would share it for the December meeting. This is my little Christmas countdown quilt that I made a couple years ago. I was just really happy with how it turned out. I did a little bit of embroidery, a little bit of applique that actually worked, and it's just fun. It's wholesome. My design, my quilting, my piecing, like I just thought it was really fun, and I wanted to share it. So
It's lovely for the holidays. Thank you for sharing.
yeah.
Is it Mona Wu?
I'm here.
Fabulous. I'd love to hear about your quilt.
Yes. Let me see here. Okay. This was started in March, just when the shutdown of everything was happening with COVID. And I was on IG, and I happened to come across a doctor. She's an OBGYN. And in it, she wrote that there was a mandate in New York. She was in New York City. So there was a mandate where the hospitals were closed for women who were pregnant and giving birth in the hospital. And you were not allowed to have a significant other or somebody else in the room with you besides the staff. And so after about 2 or 3 days, it was lifted. But I thought about it, and that resonated with me. Her words, these are her words that she wrote out. And so I asked her for permission if I could put it in a quilt, and she was really happy about that. But her words resonated with me because my son and daughter-in-law were pregnant and they were expecting in June. So I thought, oh, it'd be really sad if this happened to them. But luckily it didn't. They were only allowed one person, which was him. So that was good. But it was their first child and our first grandchild. So, but anyway, this is how it started. And also through inspiration, through Sean, I took all these little pieces of various reds and pinks, and those are the background. And then the words were my scraps of, or my stash of whites and blacks fabrics. So that's how that quilt came about. So it took about 2 months, and Anne-Marie quilted it for me. So that's
Beautiful.
it. Thank
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
you. Mm-hmm.
Is Corey Keller available?
Yes, I am. So this is a pretty quick and small quilt that I made for my sister, who absolutely loves sea glass. And there was a online video course from Exhausted Octopus that told you how to pick fabrics, how to align them, how to cut them. And this is my first free motion quilting in years, after having found a wonderful long arm quilter in Kazumi. But it worked out fairly well, so I'm excited to gift it to her. Thank you.
It's fabulous. Thank you. Erin, you're up.
Yes, it's getting to be that time of year again for me where I have to make 2 quilts because I have Christmas twins, because I am the worst mother in the world. They got really into Minecraft this year. Malcolm and Nathaniel, those are my boys. And so this is an Ender Dragon for Nathaniel. And I found there was like a sew along for Minecraft. Gosh, I think like back in 2016, 2015. And so I didn't have to pattern this dragon at all. That was all done and online. I just had to do the math to add on the fabric around the outside of that. So there's the Ender Dragon. And then if you go to the next slide, this is an Enderman. I don't exactly know what these things are in Minecraft. They're bad guys, I think, but who knows? The quilting on both of these was done by my super awesome long armor, Chris, who is custom quilting by Chris. And they are dying to have me give them to them now, but I'm gonna hold off until their birthday. So there are the Birthmas quilts.
Thank you, Erin. So thank you all for joining us. Our next meeting will be with Jackie Gehring on January 21st. This is a members only evening also. We were going to leave the Zoom meeting on if you wanted to unmute yourselves and chat away. You are welcome to.